the film.
So what was the most shocking for each of you? Shocking moment.
Basically, the RV broke down and we had to backpack. I was so shocked that there were no places to eat anywhere, like not even a gas station sometimes to like grab something to drink. So like, that to me was probably the most, like at some points when we were going up the mountains and I'm like, okay, this is like the last sip of water that I have, probably for like the next 30, 40 miles. And I'm debating whether I should drink it now because my throat is really dry or if I should wait. And I'm just like, why is there not a gas station around the corner? And you're going up the hill and you're like, okay, it's going to be one there. I know it. I know it. And then you get up there and it's nothing but another downhill and then another uphill. So I think that was the most shocking for me is how spread out everything is and how unincorporated Virginia, West Virginia, and all those, states over there are just completely isolated. And it's cool because you actually got to see people that had no idea. I remember when we were walking, and it was during elections, and they were doing the presidential the speeches, and we would watch them through people's windows, and you could be like, I wonder what they're thinking, because clearly we were the only colored people there in the town, and I was like, they're probably talking about immigration, and like I wonder what they're thinking. So it's very shocking to actually see people live conservatively and not be able to open their minds out to other people and different ideas and different cultures.
Wow. What about you, Sarai?
For me, I mean, I think it had to be also that moment of just watching them go through this stage by stage where they lost their RV and Raimi couldn't let go of it. And then they had this brilliant idea of shopping carts or buggies, if you will.
And she couldn't let go of those.
And she couldn't let go of those. So I think for us, like we were with them every minute, every second during that time because what's going to happen next?
Yep.
Like even living through it, we're like, what's going to happen? What's their next step? Are they going to go through this? Are they going to make it? Right?
Yeah.
And I think also for us, like seeing the danger of it and try. Of course, like we've established relationships with them. I consider John a good friend of mine now, but it was also like, okay, my role is as a documentarian, right? And so there were moments where like we didn't want to cross the line or alter like what they were going through, but it's like, guys, this is kind of dangerous. Like Raimi almost got hit by a truck because the roads were so narrow. So and they had these huge shopping carts with all their belongings. And so it was definitely like one of those times where we were just like, what's going to happen right now? But we were definitely supportive as well as just like holding back and just watching it happen.
So as being part of the crew, was it hard to have different resources available to you that maybe weren't available to them, like water?
Well, I think that it was kind of a balance, if you will. Like in the beginning, like it was hard for us because we had a vehicle ourselves, but we didn't have an RV, right? So at times where we didn't stay with them at people's homes, they had their RV to sleep in, and we're like, what are we gonna do?
So you weren't always the privileged ones.
No, we were not always the privileged. Yeah, so we sometimes would sleep in the car, or we would have to leave and find a campground, and then come back in the morning to hopefully catch them before they were awake. And then towards the end, it was more of this balance where we try to camp out together the entire time. But yes, we did have more resources because we were able to leave and I'm vegan, so it was really hard. I lived off potatoes the entire time. but we would leave and get some resources and come back, where they had to have the convenience store and live off Red Bull and Kit Kat bars, which wasn't healthy.
Not healthy, no.
Yeah.
So do you think, we mentioned that the RV broke down, do you think that was symbolic to all the things you guys were risking and leaving behind, and then seeing the same thing happen with the shopping cart, not that the shopping cart broke down, but having to leave it behind?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that it's, when you look at the movement itself, a lot of people leave their countries and they leave their homes and they leave everything behind to go and search for a new life and a better life itself. So, as I remember mentioning, that, when we were walking, essentially we wanted to, represent the people who risk everything and kind of just go into the unknown, into a different country, and they do leave their homes behind. They do leave their families behind, and I think that it's really symbolic how Raimi was really attached to that, and you can kind of use that to compare to the families that people leave behind, or their homes and their friends and their lifestyles that they leave behind in order to go to a new country and search for a new life, not knowing anyone. So I think this is very symbolic, and it's if you sit back and think about it, it really does connect all the pieces and puzzles together.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that you would have done different, maybe you or one of the dreamers?
I mean, I think that the only thing I would have done different is probably just I would have prepped a lot more. I mean, now I walk out of the store and I see like solar chargers for phones, and I'm like, how in the world did I not see this? Or like a generator that you can attach to an RV, and I'm like, I never thought of that. Like things that I would have done a lot, I guess, beforehand. I would have probably prepped a lot more.
So I know it's going to be hard since you had such a long journey, both, you know, behind the scenes and in front of the camera. But if you can summarize your experience in one word, what would that one word be?
I mean, I would definitely say, I guess, growth, because I feel like I grew as a person, but I feel like, you know, people who watch this documentary are going to grow as individuals as well. They're going to take something away from the film that they didn't have before they watched it.
I would say transformative, because not only did they transform throughout their journey, I did as well, in knowing a little bit more about my culture and my roots as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, both of you, for coming down and talking to us. If you guys want to help these American Dreamers or watch the documentary, you can visit AmericanDreamers.com. I'm Denise Salcedo, and thank you for watching Movie Club.